Today I'm gonna talk about my birth story.
Lady, you've saved me from drowning, saved me from drowning in the deep, deep ocean. Now we be climbing, to the highest mountain. I will never let you go, girl. I will never let you leave my side. I will never let you go, girl. I will never let you leave. सोनिए लगता मैनू हो गया प्यार नी कुछ अभी नाल मेरे दूर न तू जावी. I know you want this day, loving you can't be, baby. There's no denying that your heart was calling for me.
I gave birth to my beautiful son a month ago, so I'm 1 month postpartum right now. I'm going to talk about my planned C-section. So basically why I'm doing this video is I have watched so many videos like this because they really helped with recovery and yeah, just like see how other people had their experience basically. And it's really good to know that you're not alone in some aspects. It has been a little tough, I'm not gonna lie, but overall I had a really good experience. So I want to do this video just because maybe someone out there is doing a planned C-section and watch this video. Just know that I have been through it and this was my experience. So as I said, I had a planned C-section and I gave birth to my son August 23rd. Why was it a planned C-section? It was because my doctors and midwife really recommended me to have one. It was just the best option for me. This was my first baby and I was just really scared too. I was so afraid, I don't know. I really wanted the planned C-sections for many reasons, and in Sweden you kind of have to fight for your will to have a planned C-section. You can't really just go to your doctors and be like, I want a C-section, not a vaginal birth. But it's a whole it's like a war between you and the doctors. So I wanted the C-section, don't get me wrong, but I really have had to not fight for it, but yeah, basically fight for my voice. And I don't know if that is in every country, you have to do that, but they weren't really happy. In Sweden it's not the first option of birth. They really want you to have a vaginal birth. I don't know if it's because it's more expensive. Actually, I don't know, but that's how it is in Sweden. But I got the yes to do a planned C-section, and overall I'm happy for it. Mostly because I don't know how I would handle a vaginal birth, to be honest. I think my body would make it, but I don't know, just psychological, I didn't want to do it. And that's it. So the day of birth, we were at the hospital really early in the morning. I was the first patient. We did an ultrasound and got to change the clothes and just wait a little bit, and then we rolled down to the operating room. The room was so white. It was a surgery room, so it was very white, cold. A lot of people, I think it was 10 people in the room. I honestly don't know what they were. I know it was nurses and stuff. So I laid down on the... Wait. So I laid down on the table and they checked my blood pressure and they put electronics on my body just to monitor everything. And then it was time for the spinal anesthesia. It's in the spinal, so it's in the back. They want you to curve like this on the table, and almost immediately I couldn't feel my toes, feet, and then eventually my legs. Also almost right away I got this really bad nausea, and I told them, and I felt like I was gonna throw up. I was starting to shake really bad, and then I threw up. They gave me this like plastic bag, so I was laid down on the side and I was throwing up, but my stomach was empty, so it was just fluid. But I threw up, then I felt better because they gave me something like a shot for nausea, I think. So then it became better. But then I was starting to... So yeah, I lost the feelings in my legs, as you're supposed to. But then I couldn't feel my hands and my arms, and my speaking ability was starting to like slumber, and I told them I don't feel like I can talk anymore. I was starting to be like really tired and I just wanted to go to sleep. And they were like, okay. And Mark, my husband, he saw like the people were starting to get really stressed, and so he saw that some doctor called another doctor like, you need to come down right away. I didn't see any of this, but the other doctor came down and they gave me something, and I was feeling a lot better after that. I'm not gonna lie, that was the most scary part of giving birth. Not the nausea. The nausea was okay, but that I couldn't feel anything in my arms and my hands. It was just like, I don't know how to describe it, but it was really scary, and that my talking abilities was starting to fade, and I felt almost like they gave me something to sleep, but they didn't. Maybe I didn't handle spinal anesthesia so good. After that, it was all good. They started to operate and they put in the catheter, and I was a little scared of the catheter as well. I didn't want it at first, but you have to have it for your bladder. So they put in the catheter, and I wrote in my letter, my hospital letter, that I really wanted it after the needle, so I couldn't feel anything. And then they started, and then they started to operate, and it took like maybe 5 minutes, maybe less, I don't know. And then when he came out and we heard this scream, and both me and Mark was tearing up, and I started to cry, and it was just a really, really cool experience when they put him up like this so we could see him, and we heard his scream and we saw him. It was beautiful. They put him on my chest. I couldn't really move because all the electronics and stuff, but they put him on my chest, skin to skin, and it was just beautiful. A beautiful moment. I will never forget this. It's the coolest thing I have ever done. And immediately after he came out, I was like, I could do this again and again and again, because the feeling was so powerful. Even though I was sick the first time, and I was sick my whole pregnancy, I didn't enjoy my pregnancy really much. But I felt like, oh my god, I want to do this over and over again because it was so cool. Yeah, it was a really beautiful moment. After that, they took the baby, and my husband went and they, I don't know, checked his lungs and everything. Because when you have a C-section, the baby can still have fluid and water in their lungs. So they checked everything, took his blood pressure, I think. Yeah, they checked everything and everything was okay. After that, they rolled us up to a recovery room. After that, they rolled us to the recovery room, and I had to be there until I could move my legs a little bit, and eventually I could. I was still really tired from everything, and the nausea came back, so I wasn't really feeling so good during that moment. And I think we were there for 2 or 3 hours in that part of the hospital. They wanted me to move my legs on my own until they rolled us down to our hotel. Then they rolled us up to our room, and I held the baby, and Mark helped with rolling the bed down. And Nicola! Wait. Where are you, Mama? This is our beautiful boy, Nicola. Nicola, say hi, baby. Say hey, älskling. Hey, YouTube. So where were I? They rolled us up and the nausea was really bad. So I threw up in the bed while rolling up, and yeah, I was sick that whole day until the evening, I think. Couldn't really enjoy the first day, and the second day I started to feel more like myself, but I had a lot of pain and they gave me painkillers, but it was like Advil, and I started to feel more like myself day 2, but I still had this major pain, and of course I had pain. They have opened me up 7 layers. It's a whole surgery, so it's not weird by any means. The pain was mostly where the scar is, and I have heard people say like when you stand up you feel like everything in your body was just falling out. I didn't have that experience, and I thought I would have, but I didn't. So thank God for that. We were at the hospital for 4 days. The reason we were there for 4 days is because this little man had, I don't know what it's called in English, gulsot. So he had that, so they wanted it to be under control before we could go home. And then it was, and then we could go home. And then also why we couldn't go home until day 4 was because they wanted the breastfeeding to be perfect. We struggled a little bit with the breastfeeding. I had to use like a pacifier for the breast because he couldn't really take my breast like they wanted him to. It was really hurting and stuff, so we struggled a little bit, and then we got that under control, and then we could go home. Also, it really hurted when I was breastfeeding. I had the contractions in the uterus, and that is something I learned at the hospital. I didn't really heard that before, that can happen, but the uterus was contracting, and yeah, it was just recovering. So that is normal. And how was my recovery? Well, I want to say my recovery was really good. I'm not gonna lie, I had a really good experience. I was in pain for like the first week. Then it got much easier. Mostly I felt the pain when I was laying down and going up, and sitting here on the couch was really hard when I was going up as well. It was all worth it. Now I'm postpartum. Everything pain related is just gone from my memory. It was just a cool feeling, and when he came out, that is the most beautiful part of my story, because you know, just that feeling, you get to see and hold your child for the very first time. It is a very special feeling. And this is our boy Nicola. We love him so much. I packed like a belly binder for my hospital visit. I didn't use it. Actually, my whole bag of clothes, I didn't use anything except like the pajamas and just the important stuff. I didn't use any of my clothes, and he didn't use any clothes either that I packed, only when we were supposed to go home. Yes, because they really wanted us to be skin to skin with him. We didn't put clothes on him until the day we got to go home. He was just in a diaper the whole time. So the second night was the night we were like, okay, our life has changed, because this little man was starting to scream a lot during the night. We didn't get much sleep at all. We were sleeping like 1 hour each. It was really tough because we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. But I guess that's what it is. It's your first baby, you don't know much, you don't know what to expect. Everything came like as a shock. But now he's here and everything went, I don't want to say perfectly, but it went Yeah, but it went really good, and overall the experience was so good. I was okay, the baby was okay, and I'm really thankful and grateful that everything went good. So I thank God for that. I don't think I have forgotten to say anything. Yes, thank you for watching this video. I hope you could learn something or relate to anything that I have said. Now I have to change his diaper, so I have to go. But thank you for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please put them down below. I will answer.